As realtors, we help our clients with all sorts of matters, including how to find available resources that may assist with the down payment. We are proud to announce that Down Payment Resource is now available on HAR.com. This will allow consumers to find out if they meet the criteria for any of the 70 different assistance programs available in the greater Houston region. Some programs are income-based, but many allow higher incomes than you may think. There are also programs specific for people in certain professions, such as police officers, firefighters, teachers, healthcare workers, and others. About 89% of all listings for sale in Houston qualify for some sort of down payment. To find out more, you may visit www.har.com/downpayment and work with your realtor to make sure you have everything you need to be able to purchase the home of your dreams.
This is Bill Baldwin of Boulevard Realty. Hurricane season starts June 1 and runs through November 30th. This is a reminder of the importance of having flood insurance both as a homeowner and as a renter. Every property should be covered by flood insurance. Historically, 40% of all flood insurance claims are for properties outside the high-risk areas. Flood insurance policies have a 30-day waiting period before they go into effect. Typical homeowner insurance and rental insurance will not cover flood damage caused by rising water. It's also good to know existing flood policies can only increase up to 18% per year and can often be assumed by new owners if selling or buying. However, if the policies lapse, you are often subject to significantly higher premiums. In summary, flooding in Houston and Harris County is very common. Be prepared.
Good afternoon and welcome to HAR Community Conversations. We are here every month having meaningful conversations about topics that matter most to Houstonians. Last month, we kicked off our Renting to Home Buying series with HAR Chair Shay Cotter, who shared the first steps to home ownership as well as the benefits of working with a realtor. Today, we're continuing that discussion with Alyson Griffin, who's a mortgage loan originator with CrossCountry Mortgage, and she's going to share everything we need to know about the financing side. Welcome to the program, Alyson.
Thank you so much. I'm so thankful to be here to share whatever little experience I have.
Absolutely. Well, from what I know, you have quite a bit of experience, and actually tell us a little bit about that. Tell us who you are and what you do.
Sure. Again, I'm Alyson Griffin. I am currently a branch manager with CrossCountry Mortgage, and I've been in the industry a little over 33 years. And the majority of that, I entered into it with first-time home buyer. My mom was a realtor who only helped first-time home buyers. So I grew up since 1978 being around her, helping families become homeowners and stabilizing. But I've seen a lot of change in regulation and processes over the years, and staying educated with all the new programs, and have been known to kind of be the go-to expert in this field.
Yeah, wonderful. And that's exactly why we had you come on the show today, is because we've heard you are the go-to expert. Well, let's dive into it. You know, some of the things I think we'll talk about today are probably more specific to a first-time buyer, but I think a lot of the information that you're going to be sharing is good for buyers in general. This first question, though, what are some of the main types of home loans available for first-time buyers?
Usually it's the agency loans. And an agency loan is an FHA, VA, or conventional loan. Now, some local banks will offer portfolio loans where they might have 100% financing or no MI products. But within like the FHA, VA conventional, they'll have special attachments like conventional. You've got the Home Ready, Home Possible that has lower mortgage insurance, lower interest rates, possibly down payment assistance attached with them to help that first-time home buyer.
Yeah. And how can someone determine what loan really is best for them?
Great question. That's really working with a very seasoned loan officer that understands the different products in the marketplace. And so I like to review with my clients the pros and cons of, okay, if you go conventional with 3% down on one of these programs versus FHA is going to be a little more lenient, but maybe that's not the best for their family. And also tying in the different down payment assistance and different first-time homebuyer programs available.
Yeah. Now, what do you find in your years of experience, what do you find are maybe some of the most common fears or misconceptions that consumers have when it comes to buying a home?
Great question. I get this a lot. The number one criteria here, oh, well, Ms. Griffin, I heard I have to have 20% down. Like, what? No, FHA is 3.5% down. And oh yeah, you've got down payment assistance. You've got all these other programs available to you. So that's the first one we've heard a lot, especially in the younger generation. Let's say the 20s to mid 30s. Second one, student loans. They think because they've got a large student loan that they wouldn't qualify because of the debt. And that's not true. A good lender will review with you the different payment plans a student loan will put you on to help you lower your overall debt to qualify. And I think next to that is the affordability piece. You know, people equate rate to monthly payments. And that's the fallacy is, yes, a rate is part of that, but you've got builders out there buying down interest rates to qualify. You've got these down payments we'll be going into shortly to help you do that. So focus on affordability. And the media likes to hype up about rate, but that really the question is, if you're paying $2,300 in rent and you might be able to get a mortgage through one of the programs at $1,500 a month, why wouldn't that make sense for you to do that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And the last one, real quick, if I can interject,
of course,
is the voucher holders. That's the biggest misconception, that people that are on the Section 8 voucher are told, oh, I go to home ownership? Absolutely. Yes, you can.
So last month in our conversation with Shay, he alluded to the idea of pre-approval and its importance. What exactly does pre-approval look like, and why is it so important?
Sure. And I couldn't agree more. With my buyers, I always want to go through the pre-approval process. And what that means is I'm looking at their pay stubs, their tax returns, or W-2s, or bank statements. Because one of the biggest challenges today qualifying first-time home buyers is typically their variable hour pay, meaning they might make $25 an hour, but they may not be working the 40 hours. So we have to average the income. So it's critical, because the last thing I want to do is issue a pre-approval without looking at that document. They get under contract, then they lose their earnest money, they lose their inspection fees. So yes, it's very, very important.
Okay, thank you. Now, there's probably some things ahead of that pre-approval that somebody might be thinking about, like their credit score or the amount of debt they have. So how do things like credit score, their income, debt to income ratio? How do they all affect loan eligibility?
Sure. The higher the credit score, of course, typically you get better terms. So I always tell people, if you're at a 740 or higher credit score, that typically is going to get you the best terms in the market today, whether it's conventional or FHA. But the key with conventional is your mortgage insurance. So the stronger the score you have, the lower the mortgage insurance. FHA doesn't get affected as much by the interest rate with the credit scores or the mortgage insurance. But yes, it has a lot to do with it. And then debt to income ratio on FHA can be much higher than on conventional, which translates into qualifying for more house. Mm-hmm. But it's really important to review and ask those questions of your lender, where they can say, okay, here's your different options and here's your qualifying.
Excellent. Well, just checking the comments here, I do see people saying hello and good afternoon, greetings to you. Even my favorite lender, Alyson Griffin. So we love that. If you have any questions for Alyson, be sure to type those into the comments and we will be checking those periodically and answer as many as we can. Now, I want to talk a little bit about down payment assistance programs because I know there's misconceptions here too, and I feel like we can't talk about them enough to dispel some of those misconceptions. Just for those who are unfamiliar, what exactly is a down payment assistance program and how does it work?
Sure. Down payment assistance is there to help you cover your down payment, your closing costs, and your prepaids. Closing costs are going to be things like appraisals, surveys, title policies, and your prepaids is like a savings account to pay your taxes and insurance. So the lender's going to escrow that to make sure when those bills come due that the money's in the account to pay those invoices. Some of the down payment assistance require a certain investment, some do not. But it's a great program, and some of them you don't even have to be a first-time home buyer.
Okay, well that makes sense. So who typically qualifies for those down payment assistance programs? And you just said, I was going to ask, are they only for first-time home buyers? It sounds like they're not.
Yes, that's correct. So you've got bond loans through TDHCA, TSHAC, and ZEF, and some of their products do not require you to be a first-time home buyer. But let's go to the definition of a first-time home buyer. That's another misconception, is that the definition is somebody who has not owned a home in the last 3 years. Can't tell you the amount of people, well, Ms. Griffin, I owned a house 10 years ago. Yeah, I understand, but you're now a first-time home buyer again, which is great. But you've also got a lot of programs in Houston that are first-time home buyers through the city of Houston, through Harris County. And then they're going to have income restrictions, some of them up to 80% area median income and some up to 120% area median income.
Now, I'm just checking to see if I had a question, just more comments coming through. But so they're not just for first-time homebuyers. And again, I feel like that is a misconception and even the understanding who a first-time homebuyer actually is. So thank you for answering those questions. Now, there's so many programs and people can go to har.com/downpayment and see a full list of programs. We have a great tool built in to our website for consumers to use as well. So because there's so many programs, I think it might be overwhelming. Are there any specific programs that you recommend in Texas or even locally for Houston area buyers?
Overwhelming is correct. There's so many programs now. Now is the time to buy. So if you're thinking about buying, there are so many different options, and getting with the great realtors, part of HAR, that can walk you through their website, the different programs, because each one has different criteria. For example, Yvonne at the City of Houston has 5 or 6 different programs that she manages, anywhere from up to $125,000. I mean, imagine getting $125,000 in my house, right? Yeah. You've got the Chodo program that keeps the price low. We had one family, they bought for $225,000. The appraisal came in at $310,000. So yeah, but you've got the new home program. I mean, gosh, I could probably talk for an hour on all their different programs. But then you've got Harris County with Bridget that does a great job with their down payment. You've got single family new home that Sherry works with, they can get up to 45% off those homes. I mean, think about it. You walk into a house with that generational wealth, up to 45% off the sales price. Where could you get a better deal? I mean, I just don't. I mean, and then you've got the CLT, which is a community land trust with Christie, and they're running a fabulous program. We've seen payments as low as $1,200 a month with the CLT. But that, depends on, where the buyer's needs are, where they want to live. Some of these programs have to purchase in certain geographical areas. But again, HAR does a fabulous job, especially the agents there, saying, hey, if this is the area you want to live in, here's the program. Now, Dallas, City of Dallas and Fort Worth also have good down payment assistance programs also.
Okay. That's great to know. We had a few questions that came in. If you don't mind repeating, Angela was asking which one you had mentioned $125,000 that got people's attention. So which one was that?
Sure. That's Harvey 2.0. And it's up to 125,000. So I don't want to get Yvonne mad at me, but it's up to, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's great. They'll be opening that up at the end of April, first part of May.
Absolutely. I mean, I feel like, you said up to 125. Obviously, 125 sounds very excited, but I really think anything is such a win. I mean, you're leaving money on the table by not checking to see if you qualify, and we can talk more about that. But one other question that came in, and then I see a comment. And if you have any other questions, type them in. Normus was asking, do you work with FHA rehab loans and USAD loans?
We have the 203K. Is that what you're referencing on FHA? And yes, we do those. We have a whole big department. CrossCountry is the largest lender in the country right now. Okay. We got a great, and then as far as USDA loans, yes. But I don't know there's a whole lot of areas left. I don't think there's anything left in Harris County, but I can check. But yes, I've done those quite a bit.
Yeah, very good. Just a comment here that came in from Gentavia. She said, it can be overwhelming to navigate, but there's a lot of opportunity. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, Alyson. So love that comment that came in. And another comment here from Rochelle. Thanks for the props to Harris County. So we love that there as well.
Hi, Rochelle.
Very good. So you mentioned some specific programs. Can someone use a down payment assistance program with any type of loan, or are there restrictions?
Yes, most of these down payment assistance are tied to federal dollars, whether it's home funds or CDBG funds. And the federal government's going to require that you go to an agency loan or a special bank portfolio loan. So that's going to be FHA, VA, conventional, and you could do USDA. I didn't mention USDA because there's not a lot of that in Harris County. But yes, in fact, you could do that.
Okay, very good. So when does it make financial sense for someone to stop renting and consider buying?
That's such a personal decision. I always tell people when they ask me, what do I do? I said, you need to sit down with a good realtor and a good loan officer and discuss your financial situation. And if that makes you nervous, we have wonderful HUD 8-hour classes around the city, some wonderful groups like Tejano Center, Fifth Ward CRC, Avenue, who do a fabulous job that they come in and they learn everything. What about repairs, new construction versus resale? How much money do I have to have? What are my upfront expenses like earnest money, option money, appraisal fees? So then they start getting comfortable with, okay, maybe I need to save. Or you go to IDA at Covenant Capital, says, okay, well, I can save $2,000, but they'll match up to $5,000. So there's all kinds of products and stuff. They stay abreast of all those programs going on around the city.
Okay, that makes sense. What about the benefits? We hear there's benefits to homeownership. What are some of the long-term financial benefits that, someone can achieve through homeownership compared to renting?
I think the biggest one's stability. There was an article out not long ago that every 4 years rents doubles. Now, I don't know if I believe that, but keep in mind, when you're in a mortgage, your mortgage payments don't really go up that much. We're lucky in Harris County that the taxes are capped to 10%. So if your monthly taxes are $400 a month, then every year you're going to go up $40. I can promise you there's people out there listening, their rent's going up a whole lot more than $40 a month. And I've got families that I closed years ago on new construction that they paying $1,600 a month, where today that same house is $3,000 a month. So I think that's one of the key drivers, is understanding what that stability looks like and understanding mortgage payments. But the other thing people forget too is, what's the cost every time I've got to move? If I've got young children, so then I've got to have first and last month's rent. I've got to pay for movers to move me. I've got to take time off from work. Maybe I can't stay in the best school district for the children. Maybe that the landlord just all of a sudden decide, I want to sell my house and you're going to have to move in 30 days. What kind of undue stress? So that's when I say stability is really key. When we talk about the benefits of homeownership. But then there's the other benefits of, I've had families that lived in apartment complexes that now they have a backyard. I had a little boy grab my hand who's 7. Allie. He couldn't say my name. He says, Allie, look, I got my backyard. I came from Alabama and they had gunshots. And now, and he had so much energy, I was getting excited. But he had a little baseball, he had a scooter, he had everything to where the mom felt, wow, they're safe.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. Just another comment that came in. Alyson helped 2 of my clients get down payment assistance grants, one over $65,000 and the other one $35,000, and they don't have to pay it back. Thanks, Alyson. Yeah. So again, these programs and working with someone that's aware of these programs, I think, is probably key. How can a strong partnership between a realtor and a loan officer really help the buyer's experience?
It is everything. It is everything. And hats off to Nyla. So thank you. We just recently closed a couple of families with the Chodo program. And it was great because without everybody rowing in the same direction, it just confuses the home buyer. I received a phone call today that the lender didn't understand the program, the realtor didn't understand the program. And that's where a lot of the first-time home buyers say, well, maybe it's not meant for me. No. Get educated. There's so many resources, especially in Houston, to help you with all that. But being able to navigate and go through all these programs to meet your needs, having an agent that will sit down and discuss with you, okay, where do you want to live? Where are you comfortable with the mortgage payment? How much money do you have saved? And then setting that proper expectation is everything. And sometimes it's just a not now. It's not, hey, a lot of my clients, I've had one as long as 3 years that we worked with them to make sure that Sherry over at sorry, Sherry, I forgot your nonprofit. Can't think of the name, but she's done Homeownership Credit Coalition, long time. And we had one gentleman who just took some time to get him ready, but we got him in a house. He's been in there 6 years now.
Wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, and thank you again for sharing that. If there are any other questions for Alyson, please type those in as we're nearing the end here with you, Alyson. I'm just curious, we've shared some great insights. Of course, har.com/downpayment. There's a full list for people to take a look, or even it's about 90% of the listings in our MLS that qualify for some sort of assistance program. So even when you're looking at a listing on our website, you can see that. Another comment that came in here, Rochelle said, having a knowledgeable partner is paramount. It's sometimes the difference between becoming a homeowner or not. So looking for a fabulous lender, looking for a fabulous realtor does make all the difference. So thank you for those comments. But Alyson, just looking for any final words of encouragement that you would give someone who maybe feels that homeownership is out of reach. I think that's even one of the misconceptions. So many people think it is just out of reach. It's never going to happen for me. So what are your words of advice, or what would you say to somebody that's in that mindset?
Don't listen to TikTok. Stay off it. I think everybody will tell you there is a lot of misinformation on social media. Now, there's some good information on social media. Go to the local people like HAR. City of Houston has programs where they'll promote stuff. Harris County has housing fairs. I can't stress enough about the HUD 8-hour classes. Yes, it's a lot of time, but this is a lifetime commitment. This is the biggest investment most people make, is buying their home. Get educated, spend some time, go over a budget and say, okay, if I move to a brand new house, wow, my electric bill is $50 a month. It's not $200 in this apartment that has no insulation. Or, wow, I'm going to be closer to work. I had one family that realized they could buy a brand new home. They saved $200 in their budget by doing that. And she joked she was going to get a bicycle because the children could walk across the street to the school. And she went the other direction, took her less than a 4-minute drive. So she was going to do her exercising by riding a bicycle. So there's more than just there's a house and you point at it. There's so many programs, so many developments going on that there's lots of people out there to help.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for that. A couple questions that came in. Maria was asking, how could we use down payment assistance, DPA, when buying a new build, so new construction home? Is that possible?
Oh, absolutely. So glad that, Harris County's done a great job, because we do some with them, because a lot of the new construction's more in the county than in the city. And then we do a lot also with the city of Houston for the builders. For example, Wayside Village. We've closed a lot with Yvonne and her team over there. Now, one thing I've been recently getting is families come to me and say, well, I want the county money of $23,800, and then I want the city of Houston money. No, you can't stack federal dollars. Yeah. So again, it goes back to getting a really good realtor that understands the market and which programs apply with which geography. I always like to tell Barry, it's all about geography. Mm-hmm. So if you can figure out, okay, the city of Houston is going to require that you purchase a home that pays city of Houston taxes. Yes, it's in Harris County, but because it pays city taxes, that's the grant you have to go with. Now, if it's in the unincorporated area with Harris County, like up in Spring, then yes, that would be the Harris County DAP. Then it becomes a down payment. How much does that buyer need to pay with different programs? City of Houston's going to require half of the down payment. So it's 1.75%, whatever your sales price is. The county's program only requires $1,000.
Okay.
So just as an example, some kind of pros and cons.
Very good. Just in regard to the HUD class that you mentioned, the 8-hour HUD class, those I assume can be found on HUD's website when those are held, and how people sign up for them?
Yes.
All right, very good. That was a question we had coming in from Anna. Well, again, Alyson, this has been great. You've shared so much information in a short amount of time, and we really appreciate it. Is there anything else that you want to share with our audience today that you didn't get to mention yet?
I think we pretty much covered. I mean, there's so much. Like I started off, I could probably talk for days and weeks on this. Just know that take your time. This isn't something you're going to run out and do tomorrow. And get yourself educated. I just can't stress that enough. And
find educated partners to work with, like a trusted lender and realtor, to ease the process, if nothing less. Well, wonderful, Alyson. Thank you again for your time today. We truly appreciate it. And we will be back next month continuing on this series with another subject matter expert to get us from renting to home buying. So, Alyson, thank you again for your time today, and have a great day, everyone. Bye-bye.
You're so welcome. Thank you.